Welcome to the next episode of Two Pizzas in a Pod. This is our first That was aggressive.
Cast.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. That was very aggressive. What was up with the aggressiveness?
I just had a shot of espresso. I'm ready to go.
Like you like, holy shit. I think I tickled myself.
My eyes are like dilated right now.
I think I tickled myself a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is our first actually like kind of like serious episode. Like we're gonna get into tell them what we're getting into.
Some Untold Stories.
Who's it brought to us by?
Our lovely sponsor, who happens to be
my fancy pointer, Luigi's Pizzeria. Look, we got a little bit more on the budget, so we got the nice little pizza box we cut and reframed.
May or may not have been our dinner.
May or may not have been dinner.
At least we're recycling.
That is the untold story is that was our dinner. So we moved this down here so you'll always feel at home. You always have Luigi's right next to it. And then of course we got some plants for you now because we're like in Fiji now.
That's really impressive.
We're on the island.
I know you had a green thumb.
No, it was brown, but
I was going to say
where
better
it was.
than brown.
Yeah. God only knows where we stopped at.
Please close your ears.
And as usual, we have the skulls.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
So,
how about who designed your? Wow, you got a really nice hat.
I'm wearing my hat this week.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's really
I'm
nice.
going with the hat.
Where did that come from, by the way?
That came from
Our good friends at Elite Embroidery.
Yes,
who design our merch, our clothes, the lovely pizza shirt, famous pizza shirt,
something we wear.
my sweatshirt,
Yes.
my hat.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen you in a hat.
I don't wear hats. I don't. I feel like I'm a little. That's awkward. I used to wear them all the time. I actually used to collect hats, but that's another story for another time. When I was a kid,
It's not an untold story.
That's not. It is, but it isn't. So. But yeah, I used to when I first met my wife Angela. I collected hats. They were all in my room. I had them all over the wall because I was losing my hair. I was going bald. Kind of like David.
I know someone like that.
Yeah, Juicebox Boy. Yeah, he's going bald too. So that's
Speaking of juice boxes, I don't see any.
That's a good segue into where are our juice boxes?
Yeah.
I have water that again
kind of
I
hot.
put here. Again, like no zero.
Oh, wow, look at this.
Hold on. Oh, this way. There you go. Jesus Christ. Thank you. God, seriously.
What a guy.
So you were a little late.
What's this? Oh, this is wow.
This is pink lemonade.
By some
We just
random company.
Yeah, no, keep it going that way because we don't want anyone to know. So I gotta do like the hold this.
Wow, and it's created in 60 seconds.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. Isn't
cheers.
it? Oh, you might want to turn that label.
Oh, fuck
Not a
me.
sponsor.
Thank you, Juicebox Boy. Good job. So this is like 3 weeks in a row.
Really good.
Where you have done your job, so you're getting closer and closer to perhaps revealing yourself. People who know us probably already know who he is, but we're not going to actually let it out to anybody
Is it
else.
for the best though?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not for the best. But yeah, so Juicebox Boy may eventually become, other than just an arm you see handing us random drinks.
Well, speaking of our boys, we had one of our boys just win the Stanley Cup recently.
So let's talk about that. That's something that's been painful for a lot of people, and me in particular, as the day court shows. So please reveal. Yes, bravo! Congratulations to him. Very well deserved.
What a guy.
Brad Marchand.
We love you.
We love him. We miss him.
And whatever happens next year, we'll still always be your fans.
I will
no matter
always be
what.
supported. And this is gorgeous that I am very happy for him. Upset that it wasn't with us, but he deserved it. And we could probably talk about how terrible our GM is.
Did you get that on Temu?
We don't name our sponsor on the show unless they directly. But I will. Fucking stupid.
Yeah. So now the Panthers.
I hate the Panthers.
Panthers
I
connection.
don't care. I hate the Panthers more than fucking dice.
Listen. So
I cannot stand that team.
I understand that, but hear me out for a second. I'm not a fan of the Panthers, but nobody in the NHL right now can figure out their style, and it's not very.
Yeah,
difficult.
it's called punch people in the face and have the referees turn the other way.
It's called 1980s hockey. It's called old school hockey.
It's called living in a tax-free state. Am I wrong? Can we get a fact check on that? Because that's bullshit.
Hold on.
What's
Fact check.
What the hell was that?
That's new. We have
That is not in the budget.
That was not in the budget. No.
All right, so who approved that purchase?
That's between you and the CEO.
That wasn't me. Oh, really?
That's between you
You know
and the
what's
CEO.
funny? I haven't seen the Luigi's credit card in like 2 or 3 years.
So I think the CEO has the hand. So yes.
Capital One, I have a fraud charge.
This is a much needed purchase.
Oh, really? Can I have some of that in my unmarked lemonade?
So we have a bell now. So whenever we need a fact check.
Oh, not just any bell.
No, it's a bell that has something special in it. That could make this a very interesting episode. In future ones we shoot, that if we have the bell, by the time it could be empty, and it could be a whole nother ball of wax.
It might be empty in about 15 minutes. That's how this episode goes.
I've been hugging this thing.
But we love you, Brad.
We do, Brad.
One more time.
Congratulations.
I won't show that stupid crest, but
show that,
please.
Brad. Bravo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Do you think his number should be retired?
With us?
Yes.
Yes. 100%.
I totally agree. And
100%.
I think people are conflicted on that. I think Bergeron, it's universal. They all think like he should be retired, which I agree with.
Bergeron's a no-brainer. He's definitely going to be
I'm
retired.
not the biggest
with us.
Bergeron fan.
Wow.
But
Really?
Oh, you didn't know this?
That's interesting,
Yes,
Justin. I did not know
I'm not the biggest
that.
Bergeron fan. And this is actually like a late development. I always was a Bergeron fan, a huge Bergeron fan.
Okay.
But that last playoff run where he was very obviously hurt,
Yes.
and he told Montgomery, I am playing in this game no matter what. They never won another game. So,
True.
Much like what was that baseball team used to take us to? And they would just like fight, basically. They played in Lynn.
Oh my God! Yes.
I don't remember.
Was it the Spirit?
The
or
Spinners.
The Spinners?
Spinners.
It was something with an S. I don't know, like, whatever.
Oh, the Lowell Spinners?
Lowell Spinners.
No, it wasn't them. They're actually like a legit farm team.
Juice Box Boy is
he's like-
is doing like his finger. Fact check. Hold on. We're close.
It wasn't Lowell.
We're close. Lynn Spirit.
Yes,
Lynn
that's what it was.
Spirit.
Yeah,
That's what it
Lynn
was. Yes.
Spirit.
Oh my God, we used to go. They used to have.
Yes,
They used
but
to
every game ended in a brawl.
Yes.
So by like the 4th inning, like the game would be over because everyone,
Oh, you are in Lynn.
we don't stereotype here. That's messed up.
No, that's messed up.
That's messed up. People from Lynn are listening to this right now.
But
They're not fans of yours. And then we'll not come to see you. It's just Saturday nights from Florida.
Best time to go to Luigi's is when?
Best time, well, not for people from Lynn.
Obviously not. They're not.
They will not be there.
Thank God we don't deliver.
They want to But basically, he was like a player, manager, player, coach.
Correct. Yes.
At that point. And I'm saying, why have the coach? Why not just have the players police themselves? Right? If that's the case. They were up 3-1. They won 2 games on the road. One of which I was down there. And I'm saying this team is dead. They were chanting to fire Paul Maurice, the Panthers fans, who now just won consecutive Stanley Cups and won the Eastern Conference Final 3 years in a row. So they were going to fire that coach who just brought them the most success they've ever had in their entire franchise history.
Yep.
But Bergeron was I think it was a selfish move, to be honest with you.
I have to interject here.
Oh, God.
Okay.
We're really breaking the fourth wall.
Wow.
I have to defend my boy Patrice here.
But do you see where I'm coming from?
I do, but I think this is all the fault of the unjust firing of Butch.
Right, but who do you think got him fired? That was Bergeron.
Yeah, okay.
That was Bergeron. That was all that was DeBrusque.
I agree with him because Bergeron was leading. He was the captain, so he did lead that charge. But
Yes.
But I'm not sure if it was 100% Bergeron's fault for firing Cassidy.
No. However, but I think
No, it wasn't 100% his fault. Like, definitely. Sorry.
You
No, you
had
could-
Butch in that series, in that year that we broke the record.
Different.
They win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah,
They
of
win the
course.
Stanley Cup. But look at Vegas. They couldn't get over the hump, and you get a gritty, tough coach to come in, and they get over the hump and win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Granted, they circumvent the cap 100 times.
That's another.
Still,
That's another story
Talk
for
about
another
that
day.
next week.
I think all of our issues have come from, like, Florida. They're a team. There's no individuals on that team. They all. I just saw a tweet the other day. They all go out to eat together. Every single one of them before games.
They play for each
They
other.
all play for each
They
other.
play for each other. I
think
agree
a
with
lot of
that.
It has to with the Bruins have to do with there's a lot of individuals. And this is weird saying.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bruins.
No, I agree with
And That
that.
all started the firing of Bruce Cassidy. In my eyes, the core started becoming individualized instead of what the culture they built before 2011 till today.
But I'm saying ownership and management gave the players the keys to this car.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
like, this is your team. You guys go for it.
Yeah.
And then when the players take over the coaching, that's when there's an issue. Because why is someone who's hurt being inserted into the lineup when you're up 3-1?
Absolutely.
I
Just
agree with
wait.
that.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
And then-
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you saw in 2011 when Claude was there, Bergeron got hurt once or twice. He got a concussion.
He got hurt a couple
Philadelphia.
times,
But
yeah.
he was out for a while.
He was out for a
the
while.
team did perfectly fine. They all gritted together.
But the same thing, they stepped up in 2023.
Yeah.
They had that team was so deep. I remember
Yes.
like they'd be down 3 goals.
Yeah.
In like the middle of the second.
Yeah.
And I was like, this team's gonna come back, no problem. You watch them this last season.
Right.
They were down 2 goals. You're like, oh, like, they're
It's
gonna
all
be
done.
gone.
It's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it's
even this
done.
game. They're gonna lose the next 3 or 4,
Right.
and they would.
Well, let me ask you the question. Hold on, let me ask you guys this question. So that year, do you think it was right to go for the
President's Trophy?
no? Well, they went for that, but also
mean the
the
record.
record. They went.
Yeah,
For,
the
do you
record.
think it was right to go for the record, or like we usually do, pull your
then he did
sides
that
up,
last
sit them
game.
down?
Because
That's what it was.
Bergeron got hurt.
That in the last game.
My point exactly. Bergeron played a game that wasn't, in theory, needed to be played.
They had clinched at that point.
They were
Nothing really
done.
mattered.
They were
However,
done.
What kind of a?
Sorry.
Oh, I guess a lot of teams sit their best players at the end of the year. You see it in
Historically,
football, you see it in hockey all the time, yeah.
that's what happens coming into playoffs. The last couple of games, once you clinch, are really games that aren't. They're not going to get somebody hurt.
here's
But come
another thing.
on.
The Bruins expect, as of late, I don't know why, when a team punches them in the face, they don't punch back. Evident in 2019.
Oh, don't even get me
Tampa
started because I
twice.
really will take that bottle.
Tampa
I'm not doing 2019
Tampa
right now.
had great teams, but Tampa ran circles around them in the playoffs year in and year out after 2019.
She needs a fact check.
And evident that first year they were up 3-1 against Florida. They had them.
But that's what I'm saying. They were up. They were in the driver's seat of that series. They did not need to make any changes. Why would you put in a guy who's hurt? Like that actively makes you worse, and that was it. They never won another game.
And then they
Correct.
keeled over when Florida punched them in the face. They just stopped. It was ridiculous.
Because Florida plays the 80s style, like I said in the beginning. Florida plays that in your face 80s style. And right, the referees turn away. But Florida's smart. They're baiting you in. And you take the bait,
Yeah,
they're going to
that
go
is
away.
true.
That's brilliant because they're going to get a penalty out of that. I'm sorry, but the Bruins have been trying to build a 2011 team since 2011. That year was an amazing year. We all went to the parade. It was a blast.
Yeah, so much fun.
Phenomenal. And you can't build that again.
But would they have won without Thomas?
That year?
Yeah.
No.
See, and
No.
that's my other.
Well,
argument.
I shouldn't say no.
I don't.
This is the most words he's ever gonna say.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
probably the last one.
It's last. No, you're fine.
When it comes to championship teams, I feel like there's always this outside force that teams just have when they're gonna win it.
Yeah, you know
Oh,
who
yeah.
that. Do you want to know who that outside force was? He's sitting right behind Justin.
Yeah, I mean, he had a huge
Sean
part.
Thornton had a huge part in that.
He had a
Huge part in
the
that.
whole-
And-
run, especially when it came into Game 3
Yeah, and
of the Cup Final.
and it turned around. And when Horton dumped Garden Ice on that ice, that was a powerful moment. That was a powerful moment when they showed that.
That's the stuff that goes a long way.
Yeah.
And like you
Just
said, like
for a
building
team.
the culture. Yeah, that's the thing.
for a
Culture,
team.
and that's where the whole they played as a team and not individuals.
But that has just
Yeah.
totally. I don't know. They want the players to build the culture.
Yep.
They build it, then they complain about the culture that they built.
Right,
That's the shit I
right.
can't stand because it's their own doing, and I'm saying to myself like they have no one else to blame.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone through multiple
no,
coaches.
They have. But
They've
it's
gotten
not.
guys that they wanted.
But what do you guys think about what they just did? They just did, as much as they're not saying it, they're rebuilding. I'm sorry, they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
I'm in the fence of this. I think it was just to get rid of Marchand. You had to dump that contract. And there's a part of me that I think it's the stupidest thing they could. If the awful roster management never happened, they wouldn't be in a situation.
Yeah.
That they have to dump their most tenured player at this current time.
I don't think they had to dump him though. Like that's the thing.
Even still, I'm back
Yeah.
and forth on it. I get it.
And everyone's like, "Well, he's old." I'm like, "Yeah, but he's still performing at a high." I mean, he should have won the Conn Smythe. Seriously.
I agree.
To be
I
honest
was
with you.
shocked
I mean, he
that.
still came in second place for the
Yeah,
league
by 6
at
votes.
37.
I mean, yeah, and I'm saying he's still performing at a very high level as an older guy in the
Especially
league.
in that whole Toronto, even in the Cup final, he played lights out. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like he was 21 again, or whatever how old he was when he first came.
Because he finally recovered from his 2 surgeries. He
Yeah.
finally was healthy again.
Yeah.
The Bruins didn't have a chance to enjoy that because he was not healthy.
Did you know we have the same knee doctor, he and I?
Do you really?
Shout out Dr. Martin if you're listening. He's a great guy.
The management wasn't happy with the leadership. And that's why
I think the management only. You mean management like Sweeney, or you mean like ownership?
maybe a little bit of both.
Okay, I think ownership only cares about us idiots sitting there shelling out fucking $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year, saying, "Let's go watch this team."
Yeah.
They don't care. Us buying the friggin' $28 Tito sodas or the $19 Cokes or
Those are
the.
really strong.
We don't need a fact check on that.
I think that's what they care about. Us lining up to buy these jerseys, which go now for like $400 or $500.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but his name should have never been on it.
That's another thing. But I think that's all the ownership cares about, to be honest with you. I don't think they're fans like you and I. I really don't. I think that they only care about what's my bottom line here. How much money can I make? I mean, you see the seats. Remember the seats you sat in for the Stanley Cup final?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You had to sit like this
Right.
to enjoy the freaking game.
Correct.
I'm saying, like,
Correct.
why not just make like a normal seat?
Right.
Like, what's the big deal?
Right. Right.
They
It-
got rid of all the yellow seats though, which is really
Oh, that was.
It's all about profit. I mean, it's a business. It's all about profit.
I think to them it's a
get that.
business.
To them,
Yeah,
it's a
for
business.
sure.
Yeah, but you know what brings up profits?
Winning.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Championships.
Especially in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I get that.
Like, do you see how passionate people get, especially here?
I mean, Florida is a smaller market, but
Look at the Panthers playoff parade. It looks like that's like a draft party here. The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like you could have that here. It's just, I mean, I don't know. And the other thing too is they're like, well, they don't spend money. I'm like, no, they spend money. They spend to the cap every single year.
yeah.
But
No,
the thing is, they throw money at the wrong guys.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
trying to make something work, but it's like these guys aren't available. There's not enough free agents.
Yeah.
They can't target the right guys in trading,
manage
and they
the
can't
cap.
draft. The drafting has
No,
caught up to
yeah.
them so bad, and it's because you can't just stick like any 18-year-old kid and be like, "Oh, go play second line center."
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that's
Yeah.
not going to work. You're going up against these
I
giant
feel like
guys.
Our farm system is awful.
The farm system's very, very bad, and that's another issue.
You look at like E2 Lucerainen. Florida's farm system is significantly better than ours.
Well, but there's ways. I mean, look at the Penguins. They had no farm system for years, but they still found a way to succeed.
Valid point. Yeah. Valid
And that's the
point.
thing. I mean, you have to just like create a culture where people want to play. Do you think anyone wants to play in fucking Pittsburgh?
Engineer has nothing. Engineer, you have nothing to put into this. You're just sitting there.
I was observing.
Oh, he's like the biggest fan of all.
It's too emotional.
But
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's-
Florida is.
I'm still stuck in 2019.
That hurts. I sat in my car. For
We should
20
do an
days.
episode on that. Maybe like later on in the summer.
Yeah.
The day before that I was going to call out to go to the parade, I was so confident they were going to win.
I don't want to ask.
And they didn't.
I don't want to ask David's feelings on Tuukka Rask. So that will be just a.
I think he's the most fraudulent.
No.
Thank you.
That's
I feel so vindicated. I feel so vindicated.
Wow.
I've been called. I've
forgot.
hated this man for years. Literally. Do you know how many TV sets I've broken just because of this motherfucker? Because he can't shut his legs. He can't put his arm down. He can't shut in front of the puck. He can't put his blocker out. It's always the same shit. The last one of every period. What do we call it, David?
I have a Tuukka Rask.
It's fucking Tuca time because the puck's going in the back of your net.
The man,
Every single time.
Tuukka's got.
Every time. You know how many nights in January? Tuesday nights in January at 10:30 at night. Me screaming at the fucking TV at Luigi's, saying, "Close your fucking legs."
I've never seen that.
Because it's so annoying, and it's just like, oh, he doesn't have any help. He doesn't have any defense. People don't block for him. It's the same shit. He's the only guy that got so many excuses and never won a fucking thing. His name would never be on that cup if it wasn't for Tim.
He
Connor.
has never won a Stanley Cup. Him himself.
Yes.
You're right because
Exactly.
He's led them twice. Granted,
He's
that-
led them twice, but if you don't win, doesn't mean jack
that
shit.
It doesn't mean
Chicago
anything.
year, I thought the Chicago series was really good, but Chicago.
That team was crazy,
That
though.
was the craziest. Honestly, that was the craziest.
That was a crazy team.
I've ever seen. A
It really was.
That
That
Oh,
team was
Chicago?
they were wet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The 2013 they were.
I think
my
that
God.
was their best team.
I'm
too.
sorry.
I think that was their best team.
We weren't winning that series. Chicago, that was an
It
anomaly.
was a tight series. If they didn't lose a double overtime in game one, or
Triple.
triple overtime in game one.
Right.
What was it? Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay, put that for a second.
what was it? 4 or game.
Which
3.
one?
One
Duncan
of the
Keith
games-
OT shot?
Yeah, one of the games they won in Boston in overtime.
Game 4.
Yeah, the Bruins went up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah.
'Cause they had a 2-1 lead.
He shot it from the point.
Yeah. That is like a series that can't be away.
Any Bruins shit,
Yeah, David,
I don't
say it.
need a faction. You put that bottle down, Julie. You don't need that for that.
Speaking of points, Game 7, 2019, St. Louis Blues. Tuukka Rask lets a defenseman score from 63 feet away.
Yeah, and who was there?
Good blooper, rip
How-
shot that
can
should
you-
never
can we
went
get a
in.
Who was in the stands?
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there. I was across the street, bang, bang on the fucking door trying to get in. They wouldn't let me in. I was at the greatest spot. She screamed my head off. I couldn't get in that
At
night.
that
I
point,
wouldn't let you in either.
No, I was a
At
maniac.
that point-
They probably shouldn't let me in.
That's
St.
awesome.
Louis scored that first goal in Game 7.
You said it's done. You said it
I
was
did,
over.
But how many shots did St. Louis have compared to the Bruins?
I don't remember that one.
It was. I mean,
That might be a
if
Google.
my memory serves me right, the Bruins were skating circles around them in the first.
Oh yeah, remember the first game too?
15 minutes.
Right.
The first game was a total mismatch. I go, this is
Yeah.
gonna be over in 5.
No, I thought
So-
I agree.
But then again, the Bruins keeled over when they get punched in the face.
No, but they had some bet. Remember that call in Game 5 when they tripped a Chari?
Chari?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
ref's looking right at it, and everyone's throwing
I
friggin'
had
Diet
that.
Cokes at the ref, and I'm saying, why don't they call
Yes,
anything? And then I think
Bozak scored
Perron.
2 seconds.
Was it Bozak?
It was
Yeah,
either
it was
Bozak
Bozak.
or Perron.
Bozak
Perron.
scored?
It was Bozak.
I have that picture, that screenshot saved in my.
I mean, that was ridiculous. But like you said, there's always like another force, and I think that's a
Yes,
good
it's
transition
outside.
into Survivor, our favorite, well, some of our favorite TV shows.
It's my favorite TV show. I enjoy Survivor. This was a great segment, and we're gonna continue this conversation. This is a good one. This is a good conversation because that's
I'm like sweating.
yeah, it's a
Every time
lot.
you talk about Tuukka Rask, like honestly, like I feel like I need anger management.
I think we have to definitely go deeper into this, and we have talked about this before. I think maybe one of our episodes is literally going to be let's just talk about the Bruins and kind of because
because free
we're
agency just
just
started yesterday, so I feel like it's going to be like a hot topic.
we're just scratching the surface
I'd
of.
like to toss one more thing in. Jonathan Teos or Toes, whatever you want to call him, is back in the league.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he signed with Winnipeg.
It's Winnipeg a couple weeks ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went home.
Yeah.
He signed with Winnipeg. He went home.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I gotta get you on Twitter.
Well, it's. I think they
I'm
announced
at-
it before the other before.
Before the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they couldn't
All
officially
right.
sign until the first.
No, good for them.
But he's back. Welcome back, John.
All right, welcome back, Jonathan. But yeah. So,
Hollenbach still will crap his pants in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, you kidding me? Yeah, you kidding me?
You think Swayman's bad?
Sorry,
Jesus.
Winnipeg.
But I think don't even get me started on Swayman, please, because you know what? I'm calling it right now. This is our Bruins episode because I want to keep going deeper into this because now I'm into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, who's listening, who's watching, the Untold Stories is going to be our next shoot because we have to. There's some untold stories that we need to go on right now.
We'll just do a part 2.
We'll do a part
This
two.
is like a
Yeah,
therapy
is-
session at
this is
point.
yeah, this is
I can't erase that already.
yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's
I
staying.
had zero intentions of talking, but here I am.
Well,
I'm
a couple of things. So let's go ahead, please.
Theo's gonna let him take over from here.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So a couple things.
Theo's taking that bottle
Yeah.
back.
So a couple of things. And I'm wearing a hat. Julie had said I never wear a hat. So I have a friend who watches the episode who said my bald head, the shine is distracting. So Greg, this is for you. I'm wearing the hat for you, Greg. But I am going to be taking it off, even though I love it. I love my hat. Thank you, Justin.
Hey, thanks, Rich, of Elite Embroidery.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
All right, so let me talk about Swayman because this burns my ass. Okay, he's not a number one goalie. He was never a number one goalie.
I don't know.
Come on, how can you say that this season? You're paying this man as the number one goalie, and he never was a number one goalie.
This season was tough.
He also missed training camp.
Yes, this season was tough. I feel like there was a lot of.
That's another thing. The
I think
training
there was
camp.
a lot
thing.
of stuff that happened behind the scenes that we don't know about in the locker room.
What, that he's holding out for $8 million and not being a number one
I
goalie?
think
That's
that
stupid.
Affected the
It affected the karma. Of course, they were. I would be pissed too. I'm sorry if I was a player watching this go on.
Absolutely,
I'd be pissed
I think
too.
Contract negotiations are tough.
And dude, he was a sieve. He was a sieve.
He had a tough year. There was definitely moments where he played fantastic. Like that whole Toronto series.
Yeah,
he played like that.
every third game, where Allmark would play 2 games and then he'd play. So it was every third game he played good because that's what he's used to. Every third game.
I do think trading Allmark was stupid.
Well, that's Sweeney. I mean, if we're going to talk, Sweeney should have held on to Allmark before anything and wrapped up Swayman,
yes,
and then.
before.
But you got a general manager who he had his good years. Come on, dude. You can't draft. You're terrible at drafting.
Everyone's gonna, you can recite back to 2015.
Top 5 worst drafter GM in the league for sure.
But his trades are pretty good.
He trades great.
I do
During
like
trade
his trades.
deadline,
Yeah.
he does a great job. Who gives a shit?
I just don't think, like, at some point, and like I said before with Pittsburgh, they were able to kind of replicate something. Granted, they had great. I think you start with the centers. You have great centers. They got Crosby. They got Malkin down the middle.
Yes.
You
got one,
but they can't really draft either. I mean, they were like the oldest team on average in the league.
Yeah.
But think about it this way. Think about it this way. We had 2 great centers too, so we were we were just as spoiled
Absolutely.
For many years.
for many years.
But our depth was always lacking after that 2011 era.
Correct.
Our depth was
Correct.
always, we couldn't get bottom 6 scoring at all for years.
That 2011 season, we had a goalie who was playing off his head. He was amazing. He
He was
had
the
no
best of every
style.
single goalie player.
He had no style. I love Thomas to this day.
Yes.
We had defensemen who were monsters. So we really didn't
You had
because
6 centers down. 4 centers down the board.
so winning
Wingers
games
that can score.
right, winning games 2-1 was not a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we knew we could
They
do
were
it.
built to win games
Right.
1-0 or win a game 7-6 or
Correct.
win a game 10-0.
Correct.
That's how they were built.
And
And
we
you had those physical guys too on the back end.
and we had the guys who would
the
fight.
Boy
We had-
Chucks.
Yep, you had
Seidenberg was a really good shutdown guy.
Oh, I love
that,
He was really good.
That fourth line was.
Shara in his prime.
Yep.
Oh my, he was.
I was not a big Carolee guy, but
I mean, these guys
sorry.
I wish he scored that.
These guys would drop the gloves and defend each other. They would go.
Oh, yeah.
So it was the big bad Bruins in a sense at the time too, where they would go. They would protect.
Marshall
And they
was a
had
rookie and he came home and played like.
you had Sagan who was playing off his ass. The hockey
Rockies last
gods
year.
the hockey gods aligned that year.
Yeah.
They really did.
But you want to know what they got embarrassed the year before. They got reverse swept. It was probably
Correct.
I want to say it was the lowest part of my
That was
fantasy.
really bad.
But-
I have a story about that. Brief story. I went there. Shout out Nick Russo's definitely listening to this. We skipped the last 2 periods of school. It was May 14th, 2010. That was the game.
Yeah.
And there was a thing. It was called Dunkin' Donuts. You get caught cold.
Okay.
So we're walking around. These were definitively the worst ice coffees we've ever had in our entire lives. They were fucking disgusting. Borderline undrinkable. But if you were walking like around the garden, I think it was like within like I don't know, like a half-mile radius right around there. If they caught you with an iced coffee, you were caught cold, and they gave you 2 tickets to the game.
Wow.
So like we'll walk around with these coffees. And that's what we
Yeah.
did. We sat there for like 5 hours, walking around with fucking the worst iced coffees I ever had in my entire. It was a Dunkin' Donuts by the Haymarket bus stop.
Okay.
yeah,
Which I think is now like, just gravel. Which it probably should have been even back then. So we're walking around, we're looking, we're like, oh, we love our iced coffees, we love Dunkin' Donuts, we love the Bruins, like we look like idiots. Total idiots.
Right.
We got tickets for $40 because we were just like begging the scalpers.
This is game 7 of the.
This is game
Flyers
7 of the
series.
semifinals. Yes,
Okay.
the Flyers series. And to those who don't know what scalpers are, they just kind of hang out around the arena with tickets in hand.
Yep.
Back then, they were still hard
Buying,
tickets.
selling.
They had, and they'll either buy you tickets or they'll sell you tickets.
Yep.
And it's
Well,
like,
that was the year that you guys went to almost. You guys went to almost.
no, the next
Oh,
year.
that was the next
we went
year.
over. But this is how I kind of
okay.
broke into it. And
That's
I was like,
right,
oh, this is, like,
okay,
great.
okay.
It was like a street market, but for like tickets.
Yes.
Like, you have like Haymarket for like fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Like this was like you were just like buying and selling Bruins tickets, and it was great. Like I felt like
that next year we scalped. Oh god.
Oh, every game.
You guys
went to
went
so
to
many
almost
games.
every playoff game that was going.
it was amazing.
The one game I couldn't go to was thanks to Mom. I was sick. She was gone. Mind you, she was on
revenge game.
vacation.
She wasn't-
out that
yeah,
night.
we
It
weren't
was
there.
Game 4 of the Flyers. I was so sick, but I was like, I want to go so
We
bad.
brought brooms, we brought dustpans. We had so much fun.
David, Justin, James, they all went.
That's when James rode Bobby Orr.
Yeah, I did.
So, did I ever tell you that story?
I don't want to hear that story.
Oh,
We almost had a riot.
it was bedlam. It was in 2011. That whole run, it was bedlam.
The cops didn't know what to do. They
My
just shook
God,
their heads.
that year was the most.
They spray painted "Believe" everywhere.
It was amazing.
Concrete. I'll never forget.
Yeah,
it.
that was a great year. That was a great year. But I mean, let's get back to Let's get back to our great management. I blame Neely for being too personal right now. My opinion. Him and Sweeney are friends. They play together. They've been friends for a long
The
time.
Boston Legends.
They're Boston legends. I think, personally, I could be wrong, I think Neely does a good job as the president.
See, this is where you and I disagree.
But I'm a huge Neely fan. As you can see,
Yeah.
he's over Justin also. I'm a huge Neely fan.
I'm also a huge. I wish we had a roster full of.
That's Adam Oates.
Neelys. I really do. I wish we could trade for Vancouver again for a Cam Neely.
But that style of hockey is gone now. Florida's bringing it back. A little bit of a taste.
Look at the past Stanley Cup winners. They're all Florida, Vegas,
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, Colorado. I mean, Colorado is kind of an outlier because they were disgusting that year. Darcy, they led Darcy Kempfer
Yeah.
to win the Stanley
Yeah, but
Cup.
what do all those teams have in common? They're states with what?
Low or no income tax.
Exactly.
Does
That's another
does
thing.
Colorado have no income tax?
No, I think they do have income
But
tax.
Vegas-
but Nevada doesn't. Florida doesn't.
Oh,
I mean,
Justin's
Sorry, Nevada.
Justin's going to go
Look at
down
Texas.
No, but
the
it's
tax.
true.
I agree.
No,
No,
I'm
I know.
serious.
I know.
That's a huge,
I know.
huge advantage because it's like I could freeze my ass off in fucking Winnipeg and play for $7 million a year, or I could sit in Fort Lauderdale in 82-degree weather in the middle of February and get paid $500,000 less, but pay absolutely no income tax.
Destination is a huge thing.
Yeah, I think
So
that's a huge.
There's
draw.
money in their pocket. I get. Yeah,
definitely.
no, I get
It's
that.
not dark at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
Sorry, I feel bad if anyone from Winnipeg listening.
David, please come to the Bruins after next year, please.
I think McDavid is not staying there.
If he wants to win,
I don't think so either.
Cup, if he wants to win a Stanley Cup, he needs to leave.
So what do? Give him $12 million a year? I mean, there's so many holes on the team. That's the other issue
No,
because.
I think. Well, I mean, Darnell Nurse's contract is the most abysmal thing.
Oh God, do not take
I
that
could
on.
go into NHL
Please.
25 and have make a better contract than that.
They could freaking trade me for him, and they would do it 1-for-1. But literally,
They're not going to rebuild because they've made it 2 years in a row.
they have a great team,
Yeah, but
but
the
when
West is notoriously weaker than the East. I think.
I think when it comes to
The team's not
deep
strong.
playoff runs, big ugly contracts
Mm-hmm.
rear their heads every time because there are holes missing
Yep.
in the
Yep.
roster.
Yep.
When you have a guy like Darnell Nurse, do you know what the numbers are?
I think it's 8.5.
We don't have
Can we get a
our
can we get a
fact
check on
checker
it? Yeah, our
on
fact checker was
She went
hitting
out,
that bell.
Yeah.
she may
Literally.
come in a little sauced, but that's all right.
But when you have, I mean, now Justin, correct me, or I like you to interject too. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Big
What?
ugly contracts like that rear their ugly heads deep in the playoffs.
Well, there was some stat, and I think it's I don't remember if this is true, but it was like no team has ever won the championship in hockey.
Yep.
With a player that had a $10 million plus contract.
That's interesting.
Something like that.
That's interesting.
Well, in my eyes, to win a championship, I hate to use this as an example. Tom Brady, he always took team-friendly deals. If you want to win a championship, you can't have any individuals on the team.
Right.
You
Right.
have to play with 120% trust in the next guy.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't be
correct.
you
Yeah,
can't be
no,
superstars.
definitely.
No, I agree. I agree.
So when these guys, I personally, I think when guys want to get paid a lot of money, which they deserve,
Right. Right.
you're hurting a team from winning a championship.
But you got to buy into it too, because if there's no culture, I mean, look at the friggin' Bruins culture. What would you say the culture is right now?
They don't have one.
Mixed match.
It doesn't
They've
exist.
The
Yeah,
Bruins have lost their identity.
Big time.
and it took them years to try and build something, and finally say like, "Hey guys, like, listen, we all buy into this. We all take less money. We all work hard. We all do this. We all
Yes.
show up to practice every day.
Yeah.
We all show up to optional skate.
Correct.
We're all at training camp on day one." All of that kind of just dissipated. There's nothing of that, and it's
Yeah,
like all
no, I
those years
agree.
building it up has just been thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So as a free agent, I'm like, all right, I can go to Boston, or I could go to insert other team here. Like, I'm gonna consider that strongly. And they're like, well, they have the history, they have their original 6 teams, stuff like that. But it's like, does that really matter right now? No. If you want to win a championship, you're gonna weigh that differently.
Yeah.
I
All right.
think.
All right. So let's start the next debate then. Do you think he's coming back? Do you think Marchand will come back? He's free agent. I'd love.
My little heart would.
I want him back. I would take him back in a heartbeat.
If I was Marchand, I would say, "Fuck you, Bruins." Look at.
We all heard about the negotiations. It was public. It wasn't like it was a secret what happened.
Yeah.
That was terrible. If I was Marchand, I wouldn't come back.
If I was the Bruins management, I was in contract talks with Brad Marchand, I would ask Marchand. I guess I'd just give him an empty check and.
But you can't. You can't do that. I understand what you're saying.
If Marchand said jump, I would ask him how high. You can't. I'm sorry. You don't trade Marchand. You don't trade players.
I
Like
think there's
Marchand.
certain players, and he's not like Brady, but it's like, why would you let that guy walk? Why would you let Marchand walk? There's stuff like that.
Over $500,000
Yeah,
or whatever
it
the
doesn't
number
make any
was.
sense.
It wasn't a lot of money.
He's at the end of his career, but
I don't know, is he? I think he's got a
Not-
lot left.
not from what I
This is the
saw.
time.
Yeah.
From game 1 of round 1 to game 6 of Stanley Cup,
Yep.
he proved that he still is one of the best wingers in the league.
Yeah. And you got to go back to Juice Box, boy. You're making the camera shake, so
Sorry.
get your hands
I
off
felt
of
like
the
it was an
camera.
earthquake, and I had to just ground my feet for a second.
I got a little excited.
I think Marchand played the way the way he played because a little bit was to prove a point.
Yes,
He had a point to prove, but it also showed that he can still play at an elite level.
he's nasty.
He's a I love that man. Like I think he's an amazing
You
player.
know what the best part about him is? Every single shift, he gives 100%.
100%.
And you know what you're going to get out of it.
100%. 100%.
He was our little rat. He is our rat.
He was my captain.
I don't care what Florida Panthers fans say. He is. I feel like watching all these videos of him partying. I feel like I'm being cheated on. I don't know how you guys. I feel like I'm being cheated on.
1,000%. But
It sucks. It hurts.
the thing that hurt me the most and that showed me the person that he is, the caliber of a man that he is, that first press conference that he had with the Panthers, and he was crying. He showed emotion.
Oh, yeah.
He loved the Bruins.
I saw that
Yeah.
and I said, that man is without a
That's
doubt.
our captain.
That's my captain. He will always be my captain. He didn't care. He showed emotion. He put it out
He
there.
was clearly disappointed.
He was clearly disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
And shame on you, Bruins, for doing that to him. Shame on you for putting him into that position.
I get the management has, they have all these other variables that we don't see going on.
I understand that. But however, there's got to be something that comes out of a little bit of he's a player.
he's Brad Marchand.
I mean,
He's the captain
come
of
on.
our-
But that's another thing, too. And it's like, all right, if I'm going to sign here long term, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years,
Yep.
and it's like I am looking for a leadership role, what's to say they shipped him out? Why wouldn't they ship me out? And I'm not Brad Marchand. So I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
how does that look like optically as someone from the outside looking in? Like, oh, are these people going to treat me like garbage? Just be like, oh, well, let's
Yeah.
say $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
And send him out.
Go off of that, Sweeney and nearly publicly saying this is just a retool. It's a retool. Well, you're sending messages to these guys you want to bring in to retool that we just fired our second coach in how many years?
And
Both one
yep.
Jack Adams, by the way.
Yep.
You know who was more likely to get a new pope than a Bruins coach before this? I'm not even kidding. Statistically, like you were more likely to see like a conclave for a new pope than it was for like a new head coach of the Bruins. And now it's like I feel like the Bruins it's like changing our underwear. Well, for some of us, I change mine every day. I don't know about you.
I know I change mine every day.
Okay.
But if in order to
we got a
keep-
fact check
on
that?
if I could go back to
I just want to just throw something in every 2 days because you can turn them inside out. They're still good.
if I could
Thank
go
you, David.
back-
Thank you.
What
Thank you for that
about-
support.
What about turn them inside out and then wearing them backwards? You get 2 more days out of that.
All depends on the swass. You got to give it a sniff, then see what you
You
do.
want a half week without changing underwear?
No, I've never. What I was saying, if I could go back in time,
I don't know.
went
too confident.
I went a lot of years without even wearing underwear.
I might
was free
start,
balling it. I was free balling it.
Holding my nose.
well,
Happy about that.
yeah, but when it gets hot out, I don't
Should bring the mask back.
I would.
Yeah, I was free balling it. I was happy. So all right, we got off topic, but
But as
can I just say one thing real quick?
it is
So-
your show.
No, it's our show. It's our show. It's not my show.
Both of you guys' show.
Well, let's just say now, ladies and gentlemen, Juice Box is my youngest son, Nicholas.
You really
Everyone already knew that. Who knows him anyways? Heard him talking. So it is, and everyone kind
I
of
know.
figured.
I got so emotional about when the Bruins.
No, I love this.
No, and it's a real thing, and
It's
it's something that has been a part of our lives forever. And it's like to get through the winter, you need the Bruins.
Of course.
To get through tough things in your life.
Yeah.
I'm serious. And as someone who's a season ticket holder now, it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I'm buying into this.
Yes.
How come I care more about the team than the friggin' ownership and the management does? Like, how does that make sense to anybody?
Dude, I still I don't go out on Bruins. Like, if I literally plan my schedule around Bruins games. I mean, we've been fans for a lot.
Oh my god, I was obsessed with Jumbo Joe Thornton.
Oh my God.
I was just going to bring him up. Now, you don't remember, but I've told you when they traded him.
Oh yeah.
When they traded Jumbo Joe,
Yeah.
they did that for a reason.
A culture shakeup.
Absolutely.
Who was the president at the time?
Was it O'Connell?
I think it was O'Connell at that time.
It
Yeah.
was 05.
About this, they said hey, the team wants to continue playing. They were bottom of the barrel.
They were terrible. They were terrible.
Really, really bad.
They had
Yeah.
nothing.
That was awful.
Get our best player, arguably the best player in the league at the time.
Yeah.
He was a sacrificial lamb.
They traded Samson off too that
No
year.
one's safe.
Correct.
Yeah.
No one's safe.
You know, so for that, I understand. But this with Marshawn, I don't understand that.
I can't wrap my head around it.
I don't
I
understand
don't
it.
get it either.
I just
And
think we're
granted,
bad
like there was no surprise, like they weren't gonna win the Stanley Cup this year. Like,
No,
we all knew that.
There was no.
But it's like just keep the guy around, especially if he wants to be here. If it's different, he's like, listen, like I might have one more shot at this. I want to win a championship. Like I hope the same thing like with Bork. Like the guy was never gonna win here no matter what.
My Bork stuff is behind. You
Yeah.
can't see it, but Bork is my absolute
Oh, that's an
favorite
awesome
player.
jersey.
I love Bork.
Arguably one of the best defensemen to ever step on the ice.
Hands down, the
in
best
hockey
defenseman.
history.
And that was one thing I will give the Bruins credit for. He came to them and said, I know I'm not going to win a championship here. And the Bruins said, you're right. And they traded him to a team that was a caliber to win. And a year, 2 years later, he won it with Colorado.
The second year.
The second year.
They made it to they made it to the Western
The
Conference
final, I think.
Final,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And lost to, was it Detroit? No, who
No,
won
I think it was
Dallas, right?
no, he won in 01.
Yeah. Oh, who won in 2000?
New Jersey.
Oh yeah, it was New
Yeah.
Jersey, Dallas.
They played Dallas.
went
Yeah.
back-to-back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Went back to back.
I had tears in my eyes that night when he put that trophy over his head.
The Sackett gave him the trophy.
That was I got
Sackett
chills.
didn't even hoist the cup.
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't. He didn't even
He
hoist the
took the
cup.
What's his name? Screams Raymond Bork. I can't think of his name.
Gary Thorne?
Yeah.
He didn't even raise it. Gave it right to him.
Yeah.
Showed the respect that man deserved.
The icon of the NHL at the time.
Oh my God. I mean, so the Bruins did know how to manage their players at one point. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't.
It's like we're back in the early 2000s again with the Boston Bruins.
And the sad part is now coming into this year, obviously I'm still going to watch. What do we have? What do we have? Think about that. Like you guys are gonna kick me in the nuts about this, but I'm sorry, I have no confidence in Swayman. I don't. Oh, he's ripping it up
He
at
had a fantastic. What did they just do after the playoffs?
the Worlds, please.
No, honestly,
Oh, yeah, he did.
him,
Like lights
him,
out.
Pasternak, Lindholm, they all played great.
They played
They played
lights out.
fantastic.
Okay, so I'll give them the golf clap for that. Yeah, good for you. What did you do during the season for me, you
But
bastard?
hold on. I don't know how you feel about this. I thought when Marchand was traded, David and I didn't know what was going to happen, who was going to step up to be the leader, and I put all my money on it. I wanted to put on David Pasternak, and I thought he did a fantastic job. In his
Oh, hands
post-game
down.
interviews.
Yeah, did great.
He
Stood
carried
up.
himself on and off the ice.
Agreed.
Post Marchand, he really surprised me with how he stepped up to be.
But he took a lot of shit too. Like,
He
from
did.
people. And they're like,
He
"Oh, I
did.
can't believe they kept this guy around with the contract." But I'm saying to myself, like, who else is going to score the goals?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Win every game 1-0?
If
You got to give, but if Marchand doesn't come back, you need to get him players. You're wasting
Yeah.
the prime of his
Prime, yeah.
time right
What do
now.
we have this year?
40 plus, right?
40 plus.
And the Bruins were. Where did they finish? Second
They
to
were
last?
awful.
Yeah.
Really good.
Embarrassing. And they had a competitive first quarter of the season. Barely competitively. However, still competitive.
But
Yep.
what is wild to me is that the team last year, the Centennial team, they must have overachieved because I felt as though like they needed guys.
Yep.
They needed help on
Yep.
D. They got Zadorov. They needed help up front.
Right.
They got Lindholm.
Right.
Which wasn't my first choice.
No, it wasn't my first choice either. But it's like you need a guy. Here's a guy who's proven. He's
Yeah, but-
not like the best guy.
What pisses me off about that is then when they're starting to play like crap, well, our defense isn't fast enough. No shit, you got a 250-pound 6'4" guy. This is 7 feet.
I was gonna say that.
This is who
Like
you
6'8".
want on the team.
And you see a lot of these teams that have won the Stanley Cup, they have fast scoring defensemen.
Yeah, we traded ours away.
I know.
Yeah, let's trade ours away.
I know. Do you know how many goals Florida. I saw the statistic during the Toronto series because their defense was scoring quite often.
I don't even know.
It was
They
a
did.
lot.
They did quite a
It was
bit. They.
It just felt like it was either Reinhardt, Marchand, or Bennett.
Well,
Well,
this.
those three are studs.
A lot of their secondary scoring came from defense.
Which goes a long way. It's
does.
a long series.
Erod, because Erod's a very underestimated player. I love Erod.
Yeah, you just know him. You just like him because you know him personally.
I don't know him personally.
No, we don't know him
Oh, I thought
personally.
you did.
No.
Didn't he grow up in the Peabody or something?
No.
No.
He went to BU.
He went to BU.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what it was. Yeah, there
he
was
went to
some local
BU.
connection.
Yeah, he could have had BU. No, he again, secondary scoring. It's huge, and we don't have that.
We barely even have primary scoring. So it's like, I don't know if you're trying to sound like an asshole, but it's like, you know, like, unless Pasternak
But you're
scores like 2
right.
or 3 goals a game, it's like, oh, well, this is a loss.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Marchand, if my
Yeah, when he was here, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. So, all right, we're going to continue this conversation.
man.
And
I feel like I need
this
therapy
was
now.
very, this was very
I
This is bad.
this was
We're at
excellent.
45 minutes. I could talk for this.
We're
for
going to,
hours.
and we're going to, because this is what we're going to be doing more as we go, because free agency's starting and stuff. So this was
I personally feel like I could build a better roster than the goddamn Bruins.
you could.
You know what? Let me load up NHL 25.
do that.
You could. You could.
I'd beat you
Yeah.
7-0.
Yeah, that would never happen. No, it's just
Yeah,
stupid.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much. This was actually not planned, but it was phenomenal.
It was very therapeutic.
It was very therapeutic,
Better.
and we're going to.
Do you
I feel worse. As a season ticket holder, I feel awful.
Hold on, engineer.
I feel sick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go scroll on Twitter and just watch Marchand, our baby boy Marchand,
Well-
fucking celebrate at Elbow Room and at Club 11 in Miami and just cry again.
But one last shout out, seriously. Like
I'm
I
gonna-
feel like it's like one of our own.
We're gonna end the episode with this. Mashi, we love you. We'll always love you. You'll always be a Bruins in my heart. Congratulations, very well deserved.
Forever our captain.
Forever our captain, forever a Boston Bruin. Marchand, you won the Stanley Cup for the second time with the Boston Bruins, not Florida. Fuck you, Florida.
And just have champion tattoo spelled in the wrong.
Yeah, it's
There's a-
champagnes.
Wait, what?
And he did that. There's a reason why he did that.
2011 Stanley
Oh, is
Cup
there?
There is a reason why he did
Oh, I
that.
find that so
I don't know,
funny.
there's
Roberto
something.
Luongo tweeted out
Yeah.
champagnes.
Oh, can we start next episode with that?
We can,
All right,
yes.
all right,
All
we'll do
right,
that.
again,
All right.
Mashi, love you, Mashi. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, see you next week.
We're gonna do part 2 of the next shoot we do is gonna be part 2. It's gonna be Untold Stories. We're gonna get into.
And that's when it's going to get juicy.
That's when it's gonna get juicy because we're gonna get into the backstories about everyone's asking the questions. Why didn't you fight enough, Justin? Why didn't you fight? So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna actually get into that.
Bruins didn't fight enough.
That's kind of how we got into this conversation
shit.
with the Bruins. But this was awesome.
Are you the Boston Bruins?
Oh, please.
Find out on the next episode. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
that was Juicebox Boy. Thank you, Juicebox Boy. Justin, thank you very much. This was a
See you
blast.
next
This
week.
was a great conversation. Same time next week.
Same time next week, with or without the hockey stuff.
Nope, hockey stuff is. This is in. It's in.
Do we
It's
hang
in.
the Marchand jersey?
No, we have
I
to.
don't want that
We have
shit
a
hanging
Bruins
up.
We have plenty of Bruins.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'll hang
You know what?
Bruins stuff.
I'll hang them.
No,
I'll hang the Bruins. I'll bring it.
Disgusts me.
Yeah.
If it's a sick jersey, it's disgusting.
He's gonna get
I
it.
don't want any Florida stuff hanging.
No Florida stuff. But
I'm good on that.
But I will definitely
Thank you,
bring.
James, for buying that for Justin.
Yes,
He didn't buy it from me.
it's his.
No, it's his.
We have to give it back to him.
James, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd ever give me anything.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate the time.
Just go check on Julie.
We gotta go find our CEO. She left the room.
Replace her?
You might be able to replace it now. Now we know who you are, so you're out there. So, but this was an awesome conversation.
Although I can't fact check. I mean,
No, you're
she
not taking her
fact-checked
fact
me
check
for-
job. You're not taking her fact check job.
If
Don't.
I breathe, she'll fact check me on that.
Yeah, stop. You don't. Listen. This is the first time we let you talk. Let's not get cocky. Settle down. All right. Same time next week.
Same time next week.
All right. Thank you
We'll
very
see
much.
then.
Thanks for joining us.